Thank you, everyone, for joining us today. We are very fortunate to have Lesley Rester and her son Nathan here today. And she is the president, head coach of Edison Kids Incorporation, and owner of STEM Training LLC. And they're both amazing. So I'm going to go ahead and let them get started.
Hi, everybody. It is so cool to talk to you today about our favorite topic, robots. So, I know we can't see everybody, but you can put your hands up or not put your hands up. But hands up, who has ever built a robot or coded a coding programming language ever? So, we got one hand raised. So we have coders on here and robotics. So, did you guys know that the Institute for the Future and Dell Computers, they did some research about 2 years ago, and they came to the conclusion that 85% of the jobs in the year 2030, so we're at the end of 2021, so 2030, have yet to be invented. So let me say that one more time. 85% of the jobs that will exist in 2030 have yet to be invented. So I know you guys are all like middle school age. So y'all are going to graduate about 2031, 2034, roughly. Your job has probably not been invented yet. So how are you going to get ready for that? So this is the best bit for you, because you, even though you're 10, 12, 13, 14, you might be the person that creates some of these new jobs. So technology has this amazing power to be a disruptor. And I know we think a disruption is a bad thing, but sometimes disruption can be a good thing too, because it can change the way we do things. So used to be people got their news from a newspaper. It used to be delivered and you'd have a morning paper and an evening paper. Now we get it instantaneously on our phones, on the internet, on 24-hour news networks. So the internet and cable news networks, that was a disruptor that gave people more access to the news. So it was technology that was a good disruptor. So sometimes disruptors are good because they change society. Now, sometimes they can be bad, but for the most part, they can be good. So we also take for granted that computers are everywhere. Everywhere we go, we see a computer now. Like, it's really hard to go anywhere that you can't see a computer unless you go to the middle of the woods or a state park or something. And but it wasn't always that way. We didn't have computers around us until the last few decades. So, but here's the thing, it was Bill Gates, who created Microsoft, was 19 years old when he started Microsoft. Steve Jobs, who created Apple, was 19 years old too when he started Apple. Or he was actually 21. Sorry, forgive me. I got my ages wrong there. He was 21. So a 19-year-old and a 21-year-old had ideas. And then, of course, we got the PC versus Apple debate going on. I don't know if any of you have friends where you're an Apple person or you're a PC person. But did you hear again how old they were? 19, 21? That's really not that much older than you. That's like when you're graduating high school in college age. So Facebook is another big technology that came in, and it has changed how we communicate in so many ways. Well, Mark Zuckerberg was, guess it, 19 years old when he came up with the idea for Facebook. And his idea and his company have changed how we communicate in so many ways. Now, I'm sure you've also heard of a guy called Elon Musk and SpaceX and Tesla. Well, did you know that he was 24 years old when he started Zip2, which was an e-commerce company that 4 years later he sold for $307 million cash? And then he took that money and he went on to start PayPal, which we all use. And then he started Tesla and SpaceX and all these other innovative companies that he has started. So he started at 24. Again, not far out of college. And we're using Google Meet today. So we can't forget Larry Page and Sergey Brin, who are the founders of Google, and they were 23 years old when they started Google, and we would be lost without Google, with Gmail and Google Docs and Google Drives and Google Meet. So all of these people have one thing in common. They were like in their early 20s, like 19, early 20s. So you guys are the future. You're Generation Mars. And the reason you've been called Generation Mars is because somebody, and I believe it's between the age of 11 and 19, will be the first human being to set foot on Mars. So your generation are going to be the generation that takes society and us to outer, well, not outer space, but to another planet. And that means that you guys get to be super innovative and super let your imagination just go wild, which is what a lot of the people have done. So, and you guys don't remember, you guys are too young to remember the world without Google and Gmail and, hey, Google, how do you boil water? Google, how do I get to this place? So if you understood what the world was like pre this technology, you would understand how awesome it is. So I hope that helps you understand how quickly technologies change and jobs creation happens. So really, when you look at it in that, it isn't that unusual that 85% of the jobs that you guys will be doing aren't invented yet. And there's a huge possibility that somebody, either you or somebody sitting next to you in your classroom right now, are going to be the one that creates the next Facebook or the next Apple or the next Google. You know, you guys are the future. So you're only limited by your imagination, because we live in the greatest country in the world. We have opportunities and we can try anything. So I've shared all the list of these great people because the jobs they went on to do didn't exist when they were in middle school. There wasn't a Windows PC, there wasn't an Apple computer, there wasn't Google, there wasn't PayPal, there wasn't Facebook, there wasn't even social media. All of this didn't exist when they were in middle school. So they have created, like, we have entire industries built around what they have created. So just imagine for 2 seconds, like, and it's okay to dream. I think it's a wonderful thing for kids your age, and I make Nathan do this all the time. Just imagine how you want the future to be, because you're the one that can change it. So I'm going to share my screen. I'm going to try, so bear with me. Hopefully this will work. And I can show you some videos. Let me see if it'll come up. So if somebody can, I hope you can see this. But anyhow, so the future is already kind of happening, because robotics is going to be a huge part of the future. Oh, I had a ding there. Let me make sure everybody.
We can see your screen. So
oh, you can see it. Okay, excellent. So I'm going to show you this video. Oh, so this is Flippy the burger flipping robot in Cal Burger in Pasadena, California. So as you can see, this robot has been programmed to flip the burgers, and it can then even clean. It'll put the burgers on the bun and it'll clean. I'm just going to pause it there. Oh, we went too far. So it can clean. I'll go back a bit and let it play again. So it can do everything in a fast food restaurant that a human being can do, but it can actually do it better. So this robot has sensors on it that it can tell when the robots or when the burger is done, and it can flip it. It knows the perfect temperature, everything. So Flippy can now replace a human being. And because of the sensors and the coding that went into building him, there's a better chance of getting a perfectly cooked burger because of Flippy. And this is just the first. He was developed in 2018. So there's been a couple of years since they first developed him. Now, another disruptive robotics that has come in is, I don't know if any of you have ever heard of the grocery store chain Kroger. So they've made my life easier because they deliver in my area. So they have these fulfillment centers to replace grocery stores. And these are their robots that they use. So the robots go through this warehouse, and you can see there's grids on there, and they can fly about, and they're programmed. There's algorithms telling them where to stop. So each of these tubs have the groceries you want in them, and the robot flies around and it gets your groceries, and you order online, and it'll pick the groceries out of these pits, and then it will bring them. I can't remember if it shows this part, but it'll bring it to a person who is, you can see that robot just drop down and pick something up. And then it goes to a cashier who then packages your stuff up. They load it into a delivery truck, and part of the delivery truck is frozen, so it can keep your groceries nice and cool, which your own car can't do. And then it delivers the groceries to your house. So this is removing the need for a brick and mortar grocery store. So, and it saves time. You don't have people having to run around the place and get all their groceries. So that's the time. Now, Amazon, I don't know if any of you've done the Amazon Fulfillment Center tour, but it's well worth it. Amazon in their fulfillment centers use this robot to move their shelves around. So they have robots the whole way through the system. It has cameras on it so it can dodge people and it won't fall into them and hit them. And obstacles if something falls over. So Amazon use robots all the time. Now this guy I think is really cool. This was just released last week. So this is a Mecha. I think I'm pronouncing it right. This is the latest Android robot out there that they have got the gestures, and look how realistic this is. So you can see that they have developed the level of robotics that we have got to now in 2021 is astonishing. So I'm going to stop sharing for a second. I might stop sharing. I don't know what I'm doing. Sorry, guys, this is new. So you might not realize just how many robots are everywhere you go. Like every day, you're not even seeing them when you're getting stuff. And the definition of a robot is a machine, especially one programmable by a computer capable of carrying out complex series of actions automatically, and a robot can be guided by an external control device or the control can be embedded within. So there can be scary moments where we all go, oh no, the robots are taking over. But there are advantages to having robots because there's dangerous jobs out there that can be harmful to human beings. And having a robot complete the task removes that risk to humans and can actually help. So I'm going to share again and see if this will, I think hopefully you can all see it. So this is the US Navy have created this robot called Zephyr. It's the shipboard autonomous firefighting robot because on board ships, it's really dangerous for sailors when there's a fire and it can get very hot very quickly. So they have created this robot that can actually go into the area of the ship that has the fire. And in 2014, he became the first bipedal robot to extinguish a fire on a ship. So this is actually on a ship. They put the fire hose in the robot's arm and the robot put the fire out. Now, if you know anything about firefighting, it can be really dangerous. Oxygen levels can be really hard. It's hard to breathe. And a lot of the injuries to firefighters comes from inhalation. Oh, hang on, I'm going to stop this before it goes. So creating a firefighting robot, even though it sounds totally cool, is probably one of the best ways we can actually help to keep our sailors safe and our firefighters too. So this was really cool. I find this really cool robot. In Nebraska, they have a cowboy robot. Everybody say yeehaw in code. So herding cattle can actually be really dangerous because cows can go off at a moment's notice. So these guys have joy pads that they can control. And now you've got a machine. Oh, did it stop? Oh, well, hang on. I guess that was it. Let me play. So this robot, they can remote control it, and it can keep the ranchers safe, and they don't have the robots fighting them, or not the robots, the cows. So I will stop sharing again and go back to the right screen. So the robots can be in dangerous situations, like I said, and there's other areas that they can go into. They can go into radioactive sites that where exposure to radiation would harm humans. A robot can go in and clean it up. There's repetitive tasks that human beings have to do sometimes that could cause repetitive strain injuries. A robot can take over those, or heavy lifting. A lot of times, if you have a robot that can lift it for you, then now you don't have that strain on your back and all of that stuff. So, so again, what has this got to do with you guys? You're like, I'm just a middle schooler sitting in my class, my computer science class. Well, it has a lot to do with you, because as robotics keeps increasing, we need designers, we need builders, we need developers, we need programmers. So if robots can pack your groceries, ship our orders, and even cook our food safer and more efficiently, those traditional jobs that would have been done by a human will disappear. But a whole other industry of robotics and computer science jobs will emerge. And you have the opportunity to be part of that. So, how do you get involved? Well, for starters, you're sitting in your computer science class. Whatever coding language you're working on, learn it. It is so much fun coding. If you've never coded before, get on Scratch. That is my favorite starter coding, and we love playing with Scratch. It is, you can code your own games, you can code animations, you can code so much fun stuff on Scratch, and it's a good starter. And then you can try something like Python or Java, or hey, everybody has a website nowadays. Everybody has an app. Get into app development or website development, and then it's fun. And then if you're a creative kind of person like me, I love creating things, and I learned how to build websites for myself a couple of years ago. I started taking some classes and I learned HTML and CSS, and now I can build my own websites. And even if I do cheat sometimes and use some of the pre-built elements that some of them have, I still know how the code works. So if something breaks, I know how to fix it. And I didn't take any crazy classes because I didn't have time. I just did it on my own and played with it and learned. And that's the best thing you can do with coding, because if you break it, it's fun to fix it. So this is my son, Nathan, who he's been involved in robotics since he was 8 years old. And right now he is on a first tech challenge team. He started with first Lego League and built the EV3 robot. So if you want to get into basic robots, the Lego robotics is really fun to start with. And even simple things like the Raspberry Pis, the microbit. We love the microbit. And they're like $20. And you can do so much with this little tiny mini processor. So there's so many ways you can get into programming and robotics now that it's so easy. But his team, Metal Mavericks, this is their first season doing this, and they had to design, build, code, and compete with their robot free shipping. So I wanted Nathan to tell you guys, because he is 14, so he's sort of y'all same age, and he gets it, like why he enjoys. And I can share the screen one more time if I can find the button again, and I can show you. He can tell you about it. Okay, all right. So I'll give you the mouse. So this is the robot they designed. Sorry, we're having technical difficulties. It's loading. But you want to tell them what this is?
This is our robot.
Well, what's the software for starters?
Onshape is a 3D designing and building software that we use for our team to make this robot. This is free shipping. It has the a type of wheel called mecanum, and it can basically strafe like this and go forward, backwards, turn side to side. It uses this. How do I scroll? Oh. It uses these flippers to collect blocks like this and dump them in different goals and stuff to make point or to get points. And yeah.
So I think we're almost out of time. Susan, how much time do we have?
You have 5 minutes.
Okay. Well, I'll tell you what, has anybody got any questions? So I wanted to show you that Nathan had, so before he even touched the robot, before they even coded it, they got onto Onshape, which is CAD, which is computer aided design software. There's Tinkercad. There's so many easy softwares out there to get into as well.
Fusion 360.
We 3D printed parts. So, hey, if anybody is asking you what you want for the holidays, say a 3D printer. But so they did all that, and then they got in, they built it, they coded it, and if we have time, I will walk you in there and we can see it in action. But does anybody have any questions? Nope. So
It doesn't seem to be.
Awesome. Well, I hope I didn't talk too quickly, but I will bear with us while we move to the other room, and we can do a demo of the robot.
Just in time, he fell off.
This is Oh, hang on, I need to.
I don't know. I didn't do anything.
Come off of here.
Sorry, we have to.
It literally saw the walk. At least I saw it.
Okay, it's probably down here. What are we
Watch
looking?
your head, watch your head.
What are we looking for? Yeah, it is.
Okay, so
Pieces might fall out.
so they've just had the robot malfunction. So are we able to show it?
The piece fell off.
Oh, piece fell off.
No clue where this came from.
So this is one of the technical jobs that are going to be out there for these robots, is people who can fix them.
Yeah, I probably dropped this.
Okay, that actually.
It doesn't look warm.
Can we run it?
Yeah.
Yep.
Is it not doing not much?
Okay,
Okay, I feel like it's the hub. The hub is right over here.
Okay, let's get the.
Okay, we're driving. Okay, well, we got the autonomous done, basically. We did. So, I mean, we just had to do like one more fine tuning and then we're done. Okay, that's in here. Okay, it's connected. So, okay.
So that's how their robot works. And they had to code it to do all that. They had autonomous code they had to do as well. So it's fun if you get a chance to get involved if your school has robotics. I know Miss Susan has worked really hard to help you guys get it. So get involved with the teams. And FTC is a lot of fun too. So if anybody's any questions, let me know.
Thank you. That was great. Can you explain what autonomous is to the
Oh,
students?
That's right. You take it for granted. Autonomous is where you pre-program the robot. So the robot is working on sensors, on like specifications you make in your code. So like for their robot right now, it drives into the warehouse and moves to the side. So they had to program it to do it on a timer and stuff like that. So you're not controlling the robot. It's back to where the definition of a robot that's the part where the control is embedded within them. So the autonomous is something you code and embed in them. Some robots can just be used with a joystick and a controller, but it's more fun if it's autonomous. And we are getting autonomous cars. So you're going to need to know how to program your car, right, in the future.
Awesome. Thank you so much. That was great. I did not know they had robots herding cows.
I know. It's like cowboy. It's like, where's the cowboy hat? There should have been a cowboy hat on it. But yes, they have robots herding cows now.
That is crazy. Like you were saying, you guys really need to, start learning all about this kind of stuff, because the jobs, who knows what they're going to look like. Like you said, they didn't have all this stuff when these people were creating it. So you guys are going to be the next creators and designers of, let's, see what you guys have. Awesome.
It's exciting. It's an exciting time to be alive. Like back in the 1900s, the early 1900s, we had Thomas Edison and Henry Ford and all of these amazing innovators. So I feel like we're on the cusp of having another generation of Thomas Edisons and Henry Fords. So it's you guys. You're the next generation of inventors and innovators and creators. And I can't wait to see what you're going to come up with.
I know, it's exciting. Well, thank you again for your time, and tell Nathan thank you so much and your team for sharing the robot with us. That was awesome. Now I can go pick up the blocks and put them in the carrier, autonomous like that. It was pretty cool. Thank you.
Well,
I
thank
hope
you guys
everyone has a great day.
You guys too.